Friends, I welcome you to my third lecture on Soyinka's A Dance of the Forests. In today's lecture, I shall try to interpret and analyze the significance of the title of the play. I'll ask you to kindly look at the board and kindly notice and consider the points that I have written over there. Now please see that I have highlighted the two articles, one indefinite article A and the other definite article the. Apart from the underlined two major terms, dance and forests. First, let us look at the indefinite article A. Why is it a dance of the forests? Why A? Does it mean it is just one dance recital and many more such dance recitals will follow? Or does it indicate that there are so many dance forms in Africa and it is just one such dance form? Now please look at the board. I have pointed out the different dance forms. Well, the summoning dance, the welcome dance, the love dance, the coming of age dance, and the warrior dance. Now please look at the board once again. I have started with coming of age dance, and then comes the summoning dance. Thirdly, we have the welcome dance, then love dance, and finally the warrior dance. Now all the people of Africa, all the communities, all the tribes are summoned because Africa has come of age, because Africa or Nigeria is free now. The colonial power has left the country and now the independent Nigeria will move on, march on with her own agenda. So the tribes, all the tribes, they have been summoned. So it may be summoning dance. They have come of age. What I mean by come of age, I have just tried to explain. Coming of age means gaining independence. Coming of age means they have earned their own rights to move according to their own plans, purpose and agenda. So summoning and coming of age, then welcoming. There is the note of welcome which has been extended to all the communities, even to the people of the past. And love. Because love perhaps will be the criteria to unite them all. And then the warrior. The warrior dance has a deeper significance. The warrior dance perhaps suggests a kind of a revolution, a change, They will have to think of a change, because they cannot go back to the past. They cannot stick to the principles of the colonial rule. They have to think of something different. They will have to introduce something different. And this change is a revolution. This change is a warfare. Warfare against themselves. Warfare against their own past and morbid activities. So, dance may suggest all these things. We have to remember the Yoruba tradition, and I have written down there on the board, in the Yoruba tradition there are two principal guiding forces. One is Olorun, which suggests sky. The other is Olokun, which suggests the water. So the sky and the water, the two principal deities, the two principal governing deities of the Yoruba tradition. And this must be kept in mind when we think of the dance. Because dance, music, song, festival, they are intrinsically connected with the Yoruba tradition, the Yoruba festival. And in the dance, in their dance format, they have two things. One is ceremonial mask, and the other is masquerading. I should be talking on the ceremonial mask and masquerading presently. But before that, I'll have to write down something else. Of Olokun, the Olokun festival. And in the Olokun festival, you can see over there on the board, Babalawa. Babalawa is the high priest who conducts the festival. And dance, for the Africans, for the Nigerians, they suggest three things. Number one, remembrance. Number two, Ogungun. Number three, the New Year. So once again, remembrance. What does remembrance mean? Remembrance of the past. Remembrance of the mistakes that were done in the past. Or remembrance of the basic truth of life, that life moves in a circular way. Ogungun means the costumed figures. I have talked about the mask. The meaning of the mask I told you I shall be interpreting shortly. And the New Year, this New Year, I think here in this context has a new meaning, has a different meaning. This New Year doesn't simply suggest the New Year of the calendar. It is a new year for the Nigerians, for the Africans, because it is a new time for them after their independence. So, dance, which is an intrinsic part of the Yoruba tradition, is interlinked with the theme of the play. Because dance includes in it remembrance, Ogungun, and New Year. All these three things have to be interpreted, understood in the context of the theme of the play. As I said, New Year is not the calendar New Year. It's a New Year means it's a new year for the Nigerians, because they have to think anew. A new life is lying in front of them. What will they do with this new life? That they have to decide. And Ogungun, the costumed figures, the masked figures. Well, almost all the characters are, in a way, masked. Because Demok is not Demok. Demok actually is a character who had his presence in the past. During the time of Mata Kharibu. During the time of Mata Kharibu, Demok was there as the artist, as the court poet. And Demok here is a sculptor, is an artist. Rola, the prostitute, actually she is also a masked character because she was Madame Tortoise in the past. So in this way, in a sense, all the characters are masked characters. Their identity is masked. Now look at the way, look at the board, the way I have tried to interpret dance. Dance, D means decolonization, the independence. The colonizers have left. The colonizers have left. And the colonial period is over. The colonizers have left and the colonial period is over. So this is a period when the Nigerians are free. Politically, they are free. But how will they use their freedom, political freedom? Political freedom doesn't mean economic freedom. It doesn't mean cultural freedom. It doesn't mean freedom of the mind. How they will use this political freedom, that depends on the Nigerians themselves. The colonizers or the colonial rulers, they have left. That does not make any sense in itself unless and until this period, the period of freedom, the state of freedom is properly utilized by the people of Africa. So decolonization, then A means Africa, N means Nigeria, and C means celebration. Celebration. This is an occasion of celebration. In fact, as the play begins, we find that this is an occasion of celebration. All the people have come. They will celebrate through dance, through songs, and through many other things. But what will this celebration finally lead them to? Where they will finally go? Will it be a celebration proper? Will all the people be able to participate? Or will this celebration have any concrete meaning in the life of the Nigerians? And finally, E E means emerging uncertainties. So the Nigerians are in a period of uncertainties. The uncertainties are emerging. So we may interpret the word dance in this way, emerging uncertainties of the Nigerians. Now please look at the board. Once again, 3 more points about dance. Well, I have already pointed out to you that dance has got to be understood, has got to be taken, has got to be interpreted as one of the Yoruba tradition. So dance of the forests, dance as Yoruba tradition, and about the tradition I have talked to you. And then dance as revolution, that I have also talked to you. And then I was about to talk to you about the drum beats, the drums that accompany the dance. The drum beats begin and slowly they gain in the momentum, and finally the beats reach the crescendo and they reach a point of explosion. This point of explosion may be interpreted as the great change, the revolution. So the dance and the drum beats, they move from easy pace to higher pace to the point of crescendo, and then comes the great point of explosion or the change or the revolution. Now here at this point, I want to point out to you something similar in Indian mythology. In Indian mythology, dance is connected with the presiding deity Shiva. And one of the dances of Shiva is known as Tandava. So this Tandava dance is also connected with a point of crescendo, a point of change. Something new was going to happen. If we are aware of the Indian mythology, we'll know that Shiva danced his Tandava dance at a point when a crucial change was going to come. And our own poet, Rabindranath Tagore, he has used this theme of the dance of Shiva or the music of Shiva in one of his songs. Well, there the line goes like this. The line says that Pinakete lage tonkar Boshundharar Anjan Panjarotale, Pinakete lage tonkar Boshundharar Panjarotale. So Pinak means the veena or the string instrument of Shiva, and Shiva pulls at the string and the sound emerges, and the sound is so great, the momentum of the sound is so great that it strikes directly onto the body of the earth. So music and dance can be interpreted in this way. It can be, dance can be here interpreted as a point of change, So a dance. And then the second part of the title, of the forests. The forests. Look at the plural. Florests, not forest. As you see in Blake's poem, Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. So forest there is singular, but Soyinka uses forest as a plural, forests. What does Soyinka mean? Now, well, if we look at some famous poems by African poets, we should see that very often, well, they equate Africa with their forest. So forest may mean Africa. And I want to read a few lines from a poem by L.S. Senghor. The name of the poem, I will pronounce your name. I will pronounce your name, Nate. I will declaim you, Nate, Nate. Your name is mine like cinnamon. It is the fragrance in which the lemon grove sleeps. Nate, name is the sugared clarity of blooming coffee trees, etc. So, cinnamon, fragrance of lemon grove, blooming coffee trees, all these are equated with Africa. So Nate is a name, but Nate is actually the country itself, Africa. And therefore, we may think that forest stands for Africa, and forests, the plural, that will stand for the African tribes. Now I have written down on the board the names of different tribes of Africa. Please look at that. Well, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Ijao, the Igala, the Ibobio, and Kanuki. And Kanuri, not Kanuki. So, all these tribes, it is an invitation to all these tribes. All these tribes must come and participate, because it is a crucial day for the Africans, for the Nigerians. After the decolonization, they have to think for themselves. And they'll have to find out their own path. Now, Yoruba dance may also be interpreted as dance of reincarnation. Egungun, I have told you, is the mask dance. And New Year, I have told you, is something which suggests new phase, new time. And therefore, the dance of the forests, the title of the play perhaps suggests that a new beginning will have to be made by the African community as a whole. And in the process, all of them must come and participate. But there are uncertainties. And about these uncertainties, we have to discuss. we have to discuss what uncertainties are there. We have to interpret what we understand, what we exactly mean by the uncertainties, and how these uncertainties are represented or presented through the action of the play. So look at the circle, please. Now, well, you know that there are 3 parts, complete parts, and look at the 4th part, which is not complete, which is still hazy. So the first part, as I have written down over there, the return of the past, the dead man and the dead woman, they have come from the past. They have also been invited, but here, as they have come, they find that nobody is accepting them. They are asking people here to take up the case, but they are not interested because they do not have time, first. Secondly, they do not understand their case at all. And the old dead man, the dead woman, both of them understand that perhaps they are not required here, they are not wanted here. They feel that they are unwanted. And then come the town dwellers, the people, the living present. And in their interaction, we find the corruption of the present, the decay of the present. And in this part, the theme of deforestation, the theme of corruption, bribe taking, cruelty to the fellow people, all these things come here in this part. And in Demok, perhaps, we find there is a different kind of an element. Demok suffers from a sense of guilt. And Demok, it is Demok who for the first time understands that the present is perhaps, why perhaps, is definitely a reincarnation of the past. He recognizes Rola as the new form of, as the modern form of Madame Tortoise. And in the third part, there is the interaction between the past and the present. Well, the reign of Mata Kharibu may be considered as a play within the play. It may be considered a shift from the ongoing process of the drama. But there we find that the old man and the old woman were actually a warrior and the warrior's wife. And Demok of the present was actually the son of the old warrior. Thus, we had been talking of the 3 steps of the dance. Step 1, beginning timidly. Step 2, gaining in momentum. Step 3, reaches point of crescendo. And step 4, which is unfinished, is actually a period of uncertainty, because it is a period of revolution, it is a period of change. Change has not yet come, but change must come. Future here has been represented symbolically as the dead child. And at the end of the play, we have three triplets, the unfinished parts of a child. The dead child, if it is, or the half child, if it is symbolically the representation of the future, that means that future is deformed. And the African people must come forward and they must see how a fuller, a complete Africa can be built by them. So the dance of the forests may be interpreted in this way. As I said, the half child is deformed future. There is a figure in the red. The figure in the red stands for revolution, bloodbath, and perhaps it suggests that a possible change is going to come through a revolution. The triplets perhaps suggest once again the deformed, the unformed future, which must be given a complete and full shape. And as the play ends, we find despair in Demok, but hope in the old man. So there is hope, perhaps. It's not that everything is lost, but how it will be gained, that depends on the positive attitude of the Africans. And it's precisely for that the dance is needed. So dance of the forests, the change of the Africans, the revolt of the Africans. And I shall be reading just a few passages from the play. Now, the warrior, I told you, the warrior, the dead man actually is the warrior. Warrior speaks over here. I knew what runs in your head, but it will not help you. Summon the tears of my wife and her unborn child, if you so desire. But there is no leader who will not feel a stronger tie of blood with the soldiers than with a stranger he took to wife. My duty is to my men. So my duty is to my men. So what is the duty of the old man? His duty is to instill hope in the mind of the people, telling them or reminding them or reassuring them that not everything is lost. Although things are not very easy, but not everything is lost. Now, we read a part of the dialogue of the forest head. Unmask them. So that is a process. Unmasking is a process. So the real face of the people must be shown to all. Unmask them. The half-child has played out his game and lost. Let them not see the rest with their natural eyes. Let them see the rest with their natural eyes, their human right. And now the first triplet speaks. Has anyone found the means? I am the end that will justify it. So, what is the means? They have not found out the means still. And the second triplet says, I am the greater cause, standing ever ready, excusing the crimes of today for tomorrow's mirage. Excusing the crimes of today for tomorrow's mirage. Hungry I come, hearing there was a feast for the dead. So I'm hungry because of the crimes. But perhaps I can hope for the future. But is that future a mirage? The second triplet answers. And the third triplet says, can no one see on what milk I have been nourished? So these three triplets are evidence of the crimes of the past. And now the dead woman speaks to the half child. Child, your hand is pure as sorrow. Free me of the endless burden. Let this ground break beyond my heart. So, is it an endless chain? The chain of torture, chain of slavery, but it must be broken. Right now, it must be broken. So beyond the present, they must look on to something brighter and better, some brighter tomorrow. And finally, the old man says, we would have done better without him. Sometimes I suspect his drunkenness. Well, he suggests Dimok. We have tasted the right thickness of the forest like the nails of a jealous wife. And then Dimok says, we three who lived many lives, in this one night, have we not done enough? Have we not felt enough for the memory of our remaining lives? We have lived 3 lives here. And we know what the past was. We know what the present is. And we have doubts about the future. But as we know what the past was, as we understand what the present is, perhaps we can truly think of a new future, a complete future, not an unfinished one like the unfinished child. So the dance of the forests means the revolution of the Africans, the revolution of the mind, the revolution of the thinking, the revolution of the philosophy. Thank you.